Peace and blessings. What's going on? This is Unplug 'em. We're going to continue with the series dealing with healing. And piggybacking off of the little break that we took dealing with Drake and Migos. And you know, I pray for those young brothers. I pray that they get their minds together. They are in a whirlpool, a whirlwind pyramid, like Dose3 said. They in a heck of a jam. And why do I say that? Because they're in the twilight zone, in the mind control program that many people mistake for a business, the so-called music business, the so-called music industry, the record industry. It's really a mind control program. How many times do we have to say that? Stemming from MK Ultra, branching off into Project Umbrella, and then of course becoming a part of Project Janus, which is really a military program and an application for the military. So we have a lot of spells going on. We have, unfortunately, a military occult complex where no longer do the alphabet boys have to follow you around. They don't have to put pictures of me in a file and hand it to a man in black and have him walk around and follow me on the Detroit streets and hop on and off the D-Dot with me and you know, chase me around in cars. They don't do that no more. It costs way less money to do it occult style, honey. Which means that all they have to do now is, because they have machines that are able to not only pick up spirit energy, but to produce it. They have machines that can create a little portal right there in your home, in order to bring these things into your house, like the Xbox, like the PlayStation, like your cell phone, your iPhone, your all-seeing iPhone, your Apple apparatuses, your Android. All of these things are able to not only pick up on your spirit, and we've seen it time and time again, certain things are said and the cell phone will react to what was said around you. It's not that somebody's sitting there listening to everything you say. You know, let's not be game goofy. We are experiencing the military occult complex in full effect in the world all around you, in your favorite little products and your favorite little apparatuses that make your life so much easier, make it so much easier for you to be oblivious to the world around you and to be in this amusement park state of mind. The world is one big amusement park. Everything is making you game goofier and goofier. And I'm sorry to tell you, but an overstanding of metaphysics won't save you. I had an overstanding of metaphysics many moons ago, and that's not bragging. You should tell yourself the truth, whether it make you mad, glad, or sad. It's the truth. And that was not the key to protection from the enemy, who uses metaphysics also. It becomes a knife versus knife fight. You need a gun. And I'm telling you, what is the gun? Is the one. I'm sorry, but it's true. You're going to have to access something higher and greater than you in order to do what you're going to really need to do when them entities start coming through. Please believe that. Hear me now, believe me later. So we need protection. Sorry, you do. You keep messing around, you'll need it soon enough. We need protection from spells. We need protection from chance. And I don't mean chances in bad opportunities or misfortune. I mean actual spells and chance. They're all around us. For one thing, the art of spelling, we've done a lot to talk about that, but the art of spelling connects to the very world that we live in. The fact being that the words are spelled and all symbols are parts of spelling, and all words are created by symbols, which we call letters, which actually equal out to numbers. So all symbols actually have mathematical value. But again, do you give meat to a baby, or do you give milk? If you want to hit somebody with that big heavyweight jam, if you really want to hit them with that big right hand, that uppercut, you got to set them up with a few jabs to the gut, to the jaw, to the chin, again and again and again, if you want to win. So some of you make the mistake of coming out with your big swing and not hitting anything. If you really want to be effective and you want your knowledge to connect with people, You have to understand that we take algebra, then we take geometry, then we take trig, then we take chemistry. Chemet. So protection from spells and chants. Thoth patterns. Revelations 18:2. Thoth. And this is for some of you who are still locked in the Egyptian mystery system lie. I'm sorry, but it is a lie. Until you begin to apply what you've read in books in actual third dimensional reality, you're talking in theory. And theoretically, you can be right. And theoretically, you can be wrong. But if you want to know what's what, you have to actually apply it. You don't know martial arts until somebody's going upside your head. That's when you know if you know martial arts or not. It's the same thing with this stuff. You don't know what you think you know about Heru and Tehuti and all of the rest until you're actually in that real moment in time. When you bring those things from the dimension that they reside in into this dimension, and you see how they act towards you. You see what they do to your world, to your third dimensional world. Then you understand, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the Metu Neter was a trick bag. I'm sorry. But again, that's for somebody. That's for somebody. Somebody needs that. And, you know, if necessary, I'll go back down those roads because, you know, you get pulled out of a belief system by the Most High and you get shown the trick bag of it, not so you can keep it to yourself. That would make me Illuminati, now wouldn't it? Or those who know and refuse to show. But I know, and my intent is to show. And some people don't want to know, and they don't want to show neither. Have mercy on their souls. Hamburger. So 18:2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen and is become the habitation of devils. Say what? And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. We're talking about the magic bird. Two key basketball players, 32 and 33. We're talking about the magic bird represented by Thoth, the ibis, who was indeed Tehuti, the Jedi, all of this, who was indeed a magician. So this is the magic bird in reality, but it also has some allusion to the phoenix. Now, I'm seeing my numbers go up on a particular thing, and I bet you that's about some metaphysical debate, and I'm not going to get into a debate, but what I will try to do is, because this is part of Breaking Every Chain, the major series, and the mini series within is dealing with healing, we're going to break that chain too. Please believe it. We can break the astrology chain, we can break that one too, but you have to be willing. If you want, if your goal is to win in a conversation, you ain't got nothing coming. How can you grow? Some people don't want to grow, and that's a sad thing. Negro, you should want to grow. But because we believe that we found all of the answers, especially when you're in that particular belief system, it really feeds you that prideful spirit to where you don't want to hear it, and you believe that you've been shown some super scientific secret that nobody else knows. And so your goal is to keep telling people until you're able to convert the weak minds over into your way of thinking, which isn't really your way of thinking. It's the way of thinking of the entities who you will call deities, but in reality, they're nothing but demons. Yes, the classically Christian called spirit beings that in Islam they call the jinn. These things are real, and they're waiting for a chance for you in the third dimension to slip up one way or another, to slip up some kind of way and open up a portal inadvertently by the things you do and the things you say, by accepting certain titles upon yourself. That's why I'm very cautious. You know, we all know our signs, but what you say and what you call yourself, especially when you call yourself after some sort of entity, some sort of deity, you are without a doubt vibrating in such a way as to open yourself up to extra dimensional walk-ins to come inside of you. There's a number of ways to do this because the devil is a deceiver. The most obvious things, you know, people drawing pentagrams on the floor and drawing other sacred geometrical shapes in order to create demonic portals. That's lightweight jamming for the adversary, because the adversary likes to really get down, and so he has all sorts of styles. And his favorite style, especially to date, what's becoming more and more popular, has to do with the New Age noir that I like to talk about. So we're going to get off into that a little bit. That's heavyweight jamming. And then we're going to do a little baby bear for the baby bears, because there's still some baby bears out there. So the thought patterns. Be careful of your thought patterns. What is that? Well, of course, the word thought that we use to describe the energy that encapsulates an idea. We name it after this particular Egyptian deity. Well, it was named after that because a lot of our words come from men who ascribed to these spiritist beliefs. These men conjured these beings, conjured these demons, and while inspired by them, gave us a great deal of the so-called higher sciences and a great deal of the words that we use in spelling. You write it connectively, it's cursive, so on and so forth. So in Revelations 18:2, we have some inclination that there are unclean demon spirits and there are unclean birds. Okay, and of course we know that that's an allusion to the demonic spirits that take the form of winged beings, such as Thoth and the phoenix. Now, Thoth was a magician. You add the Ugg of the caveman, a magician on one hand, a higher level thinker, and a caveman on the other, Ugg. You put them together, you get Thoth. You put the Ugg in the middle of it, you get thought. How interesting it is that the word thought has a U and a G in it, and you can't hear them. That's part of the trickery, because magic is all about trickery. And there's magic in the world all around us, especially in the music, which we talked about yesterday. The Amigo lesson was really born from out of this lesson. This lesson came first: protection from spells, chants, and thought patterns. Hateful, rebellious, lofty. That was me as Amen Thoth. That's what I called myself at one period of time in my life, about around 2000, around 2001. I was wearing a herringbone with a ankh dangling off of it, which is a piece of sacred geometry. Oh, the ankh is all good. You know, you don't know until you apply it in practical reality. And you have to be more than game goofy. You can't be so prideful. See, pride will keep you from seeing something. You could be so prideful about yourself that you're unable to see your shortcomings. You can be so prideful about your child that you're unable to see and deal with their shortcomings. Pridefulness creates a blindness. You can be so prideful about your music that you can't tell it's whack. True. You can be so prideful about your cooking that you can't tell it's tasteless or not good. So pridefulness creates a blindness. We want to be cautious about being blind or oblivious, because that brings forth another spirit. Remember, the spirits operate like a gang. The strong man or the big fella come first, and he protect and make sure that all the little ones can put in work. So the strong man of pride, which is oftentimes a person's strong man, pride runs with denial. That's the #1 strong man demon. Until you can admit your spit, you won't get no help. The first step in the hospital, admission. So pride can bring forth the dumb spirit. There is a dumb spirit. It goes right along with the rebellious spirit. They call the dumb spirit also the spirit of ignorance. Now dig this. People say that ignorance or being ignorant is, well, people don't know, they're ignorant, they don't know. No, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Right within the word ignorant is the word ignore, hence to ignore. Ignorance. Words with the ence at the end. Maybe I'll put a couple of them down, because I see I just have the one. And sometimes you need more than one example, because I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I look like this, and so you don't want to believe me. So let's just do it like this. Infer, hence to infer. Enter, I'm going to show y'all in a second. Fear, hence, excuse me, hence to interfere. What's another one? Confide. You don't say that quite right either, do you? You don't say confidence. Maybe they do in the old country. But just for example, you see here in the words, and yes, I believe we did show this in the spelling. Some people don't go back that far on the old school videos, so please bear with me if you've had this lesson before and you know it like that. Because if you don't know it like that, then get it again, so you do know it like that. But just like in the word coincide, ence. The ence is hence to do something, hence to coincide. So same thing with inference, hence to infer, hence to interfere, and hence to confide. So in coincidence, of course, we see hence to coincide, and that directly goes against how people use the word. Coincide means that go with this. This book coincides with this workbook. That means they go together. But yet when you say a coincidence, you say this don't have nothing to do with that. It's just a coincidence. And why is that anything to take note of? Because the diction that you get from the dictionary helps to keep you from overstanding the true meaning and significance of the word. All of this is part of protection from spells, chants, and thought patterns, bad thought patterns. So why does it matter spiritually? In this word in particular, coincidence, because the implication when saying that's just a coincidence is that it doesn't matter. Now, if you understood the ways that the Most High can speak to you outside of your perceived, prescribed, comfortable ways, the things that you used to having Pastor Porkchop tell you everything, and if he don't tell you, it can't be true. Well, the Most High, guess what, can actually speak to you through the world around you if you can pay attention. There's the reason they say pay attention, because it's a sacrifice. It's something you have to give in order to give attention. You have to give something to get it. Pay attention, like pay me. Pay attention. That means that it's not easy. We live in a world of distractions. True that. The enemy and adversary of our soul wishes to keep our minds blind and controlled and distracted. Distract. To be on a track means that you are in alignment with something. You're going a particular way, a prescribed way. To be distracted means you don't know where you're going. You off the track, distracted. Have mercy. Bless you. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, the dumb spirit, which is the rebellious spirit. How so? The dumb spirit has to do with being rebellious, because you can be taught if you don't be rebellious. If you be rebellious, how can you be taught except by yourself? Then you lean to your own understanding. It says, lean not unto thine own understanding. If you lean to your own understanding, guess what? It'll be like you're blind. That pridefulness creates a blindness. And the blind leading the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. Have mercy. Don't be blind from your pride or from your ignorance, from your inability to deal with what's in your face. That's ignorance. To ignore mean that I have to know you're there first. So it's really more of a cardinal sin, if you will, if I can use that word while I'm wearing red, a cardinal sin. And Benny Blanco, don't you talk about my diamonds on my shirt. Don't you talk about that. You hear me? This is not Fat Farm. And don't you talk about my red, because it's time for warfare. So I wore red just for that. And I hope you like it. Don't take a wizard on my lizards and tell me that it's raining. Anyway, that's my buddy, Benny Blanco. Love you, brother. Love you, brother. He know I like to have fun. We joke around, we have fun. Some of y'all is too tight, too uptight. Have mercy. You got tighty whities on? Get you some boxers. Okay, so the spirit of ignorance is big in hip-hop music. Versace, 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 Versace. That's one of the most ignorant songs I've ever heard in my life. And yes, it's catchy too. Isn't that something? Well, the dumb thing is catchy. Simplicity. What does it say? I love that one. People get mad and I read that. Oh, ye simple ones. I don't even have to find it. I know it. Oh, ye simple ones. How long will you love simplicity? That's Solomon talking. Solomon was one of the wisest men ever. And according to scripture, and somebody gonna hit me with, oh well, there was no Solomon, it was Saul on. How do you know? Who told you? The Pope? Oh well, I read it from Dr. Kwesi Valentine Hemet. Get out of here. Beat it. You learned it from prescribed and approved controlled opposition. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And I'm not sorry neither. That's what it is. You learned it from people who learned it from colleges and from universities. Academia is controlled by fraternities and sororities. Fraternities and sororities are controlled by secret societies, Masons and Eastern Stars. Masons and Eastern Stars are controlled by the spirit beings that they worship. And you think as a goofy goober, you're going to go to some pro-black store and buy a couple books about Thoth or Tahuti or Asur and Aset, and you're going to be a master, when Aleister Crowley took his funky butt over there and actually got in touch with Heru, who said, I am the snake that giveth man wisdom. He said, oh, well, it's all perspective. And you game goofy people who want to believe that there's no good and no evil. Oh, woe is you. Woe is you. You ain't did enough studying. You haven't lived enough. If you live enough, you'll know what evil is. I know what evil is. I've seen evil in full effect. And I'm gonna tell you this. I done seen black devils do the worst evil. I've seen it. Don't tell me there's no evil. Oh, well, it's just your perspective. You ain't seen enough. Have mercy on your soul. Ignorance. Hence to ignore. Don't ignore. You see it, deal with it. The second you see it. Let's do a test. Let's test out oblivion. What's oblivion? Oblivion is nothingness. Some people walk in a state of oblivion. What does that mean? That, a country can say, we're going to drop our nukes on you and we're going to blow you into oblivion. That's one way to use the word. Here's another. Oblivion and oblivious. You're oblivious to the fact that your house is overrun with rats. Oblivious means you ain't even paying no attention. You can't even see it. Nothing. You see nothing. It's the same thing as oblivion, to blow you into nothingness. Well, you're in a state of nothingness. Yada, yada, yada. What does that mean? Nothing, nothing, nothing. How dare they take the name of Judah in Hebrew and turn it into nothing, nothing, nothing. But that's part of that Zionist agenda. Everything black ain't right. We talk about the boule all day, every night. Well, guess what? Everything Jewish ain't right neither. So if you believe that, you're in oblivion. You are oblivious to certain facts. Don't be oblivious to nothing, because that means that you are ignorant. Ignorant. You're ignoring a fact. A fact is there and you won't deal with it. Don't let me get on your head this evening. I love you. Are you oblivious to your surroundings? Game goofy? No? Then look at the floor around you. This is a little test. Pay attention. Sacrifice attention. Give up attention. Pay attention. Are you oblivious to your surroundings? No? Then look at the floor around you. How many things was dropped on the floor around you that you walked past, that you dropped? Let's say it's 4 people. Let's say it's 5 people in the house. I know people live in a house with 10 people. If you can't control who dropped what and who put what where, and it ain't but 5 people in the house, 6 people in the house, it's something wrong. Somebody's oblivious to something. Who is the boss of the house? This is a test to make sure that the demon of the spirit of ignorance and the dumb spirit is not on you. Because if the dumb spirit is on you, the denial spirit is probably on you. If the denial spirit is on you, the rebellious spirit is probably on you. This is to get some of the demons up off of you. Up off of us all. Everything I say to y'all, I check myself with the same thing while I'm writing it. It's for me. And I share it with you. I can do it so you can too. I ain't nothing special. He's no respecter of persons. I'm not oblivious to my surroundings because I had to do this check of myself. Do I drop stuff and leave it there and keep walking? Like Jeeves or somebody's going to come pick it up. That is a sign that you may have oblivion controlling your mind. That's a part of mind control. Dealing with healing, first step in healing is what? The top of your body. There's a reason this up here is at the top of your body, not your behind. Your behind not up here. You spend more time on that. This here is supposed to run things. That's why it's at the top. Take it from the top, top down. Anointing, top down. You anoint the head first. They don't anoint your shoulders. They don't anoint your butt. They don't anoint your hands. First, they anoint your head. When it's done the proper way, when you're a king, when you're royalty. And it is written, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter and the glory of kings to reveal it. Don't make me. So you must pay attention. You don't want to give it up. You don't want to give it up. Arsenio said, give it up for. And you game goofy goobers. You simple ones. You love simplicity. But you won't give it up for nothing of any consequence. Anything with any substance to it. That make your head hurt and make you go to sleep. Do you know when Nas says, I never sleep, because sleep is the cousin of death? Yes, the Honorable Dick Gregory, who helped expose the Boule by admitting he was a part of it, gave us great information when he acknowledged the importance of sleep to rejuvenation of the body. He said that two of our biggest problems as a community is not enough water and not enough sleep. Most of y'all don't like to drink water, but you like to sleep. Anything done in excess is no good for you. Well, what is excess? Well, in a land, in an amusement park land, in a Disneyland world that we live in, where too much of everything is the norm. Too much food. You don't have to eat 4-5 times a day. You don't have to eat 3. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Eat to Live, when he was honorable, wrote a true fact that you can find exhibited in the natural world around you if you're not oblivious to things outside of your tunnel vision sight world. You can see in the world around you that the animals, not the animals that live with us, because the animals that live with us, we have given them the spirit of excess as well. But the animals, they eat for energy. They eat for the energy of the day. And that's generally once a day. In the wild. I'm talking about big, powerful animals who need to eat a lot of pounds in order to get around. You don't have to eat a lot of pounds, and you still do. Something wrong with you. We're going to make it right if you want to. Free will. You have to want to. You have to desire healing. Jesus told the blind man it was by his faith that he was healed. Time after time when the Messiah does a healing, 2 things is in full effect. The person's faith that he's healing. Even in one case, he sent healing forth without even having to go see the individual because of the faith of the person who asked him to do the healing. And then the secondary thing is this, willing. You have to be willing. You have to want healing. How do you prove that you want it? The same way that a crackhead proved that they want to get off crack. The only way is to say, I don't want to smoke crack no more. You have to admit. That's how you get demon up off of you. What demon? Denial. The main one. The big one. The one that keeps you in the state that you're in. The one that arrests your development and does not want you to advance. The one that wants you to think, I'm too old to change my thinking. Be ye transformed by the dieting of your belly. Be ye transformed by the exercising of your thighs. Be ye transformed by the fasting from your food. No, none of it will work unless you first deal with your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to change the way you think. Have mercy. Babies, children, pets are energy receptors. The energy of you, your music, your environment, it produces, the energy that it produces will reflect in their behavior. So it's not just about you. You may not want to change. You may be a lazy Lizzie and you don't want to change. You may be a lazy Leo and you don't want to change. You may be so comfortable in your discomfort because you ain't comfortable, obviously. Inside you desire to change. Inside you desire some healing. You see some things you want to improve. However, not only is your healing locked in your feeling and your ability to release certain feelings, let go of certain things, open up and admit your spit, but also those around you that are directly connected to your universe, to the microcosm of your cosmos around you. You are a planet. There's things living on you. I don't care how hard you scrub. There's things living on you. And unfortunately, there may be things living in you. You're quite a planet. So in order to cleanse your planet and to make sure that the other heavenly bodies that revolve around you are in proper juxtaposition to you and that they're not knocked out of orbit, you have to vibrate a certain way. The Earth's vibration, the Earth's magnetic field affects the moon. The moon affects the Earth's magnetic field. It's a correlationship. And we are microcosms. We are small little bodies. You aspire to be a heavenly body. I aspire to be a heavenly body. Like the heavenly bodies above. That's one reason why the heavenly bodies above affect us below. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The things that are bound up in heaven shall be bound on the earth. And even in the Illuminati axiom, which they did not create, they create nothing. As above, so below. So therefore, you are a little planet. You vibrate. And your vibration affects all the little planets, all the little heavenly bodies that surround you. You being in a funky mood doesn't only affect you. You being in a happy mood doesn't only affect you. It works both ways, forward and reverse. But you don't want to remain in the vein of the spirit of ignorance. And we had got on the hip-hop song, on the rap song, Versace, because I was thinking about the cadence, the pattern. And somebody said, well, Juicy J, a 666 Mafia. And I know, yeah, it's a pattern he do, but I would mock it a little differently than that pattern. But I do know that little Migos pattern, I've heard it in other MCs too recently. But my point was, so great point about Juicy J and 666 Mafia and Hypnotized Minds was the label 666 Mafia was on. Juicy J come from the group called 666 Mafia. Used to be called, yeah, right, 666 Mafia. Then they changed to 36 Mafia to kind of throw you off. Short circuit you game goofy people. Juicy J does have a cadence, a delivery, a pattern that goes right in line with what I'm finna say about the Versace song and Lil Wayne's cadence. It's a wicked delivery. I feel it. As a former studio engineer who's recorded so many rappers, famous and infamous, and not famous, and just knowing from myself as a rhyme writer since 13, knowing the differences in deliveries and patterns and just picking up on that, I heard it and it felt demonic to me. And I didn't realize that long as it was framed around the beat, but I happened to hear somebody just doing the pattern with their mouth as they was whistling while they worked. And I heard that pattern and I picked up on it. It felt demonic to me. And then I began to think of other patterns like that. And what that does is it helps to produce, I know in that particular case, it certainly gives you the dumb spirit. But now let me show you something, because I don't know nothing. I just look like this. Also, Rihanna had a song where the hook in her song was, and it's getting warm in here, the hook in her song was dum dum be dum 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 be dumb. And it was saying dumb dumb be dumb. It don't take the rocket scientist to understand that. I'm not the brightest bulb in the lamp. But a lot of these cadences that we hear in the music today, not just the music itself is hypnotic. But then you add to the music the vocal or the the verse and the cadence of the verse, the cadence of the vocals, and now you have two hypnotic aspects working against the young people. Young people's minds are very moldable because their little brain cells are still forming. That's why it's terrible for them to be smoking and be around weed, especially when they're still forming their thoughts and ideas and opinions, but also because their little minds is still being built on a cellular level. So we have people who understand these high metaphysical concepts, and they use them the only way they can be used. You think you can use something evil in a good manner, you are a new fool. And I'm talking about evil, not bad. You can use something bad in a good manner. Let's go there. You want to go there? Bad is different than evil. Evil has to do with a spiritual level. Bad can be relative. I think your cooking tastes bad. I think that song sounds bad. I think that outfit you got on looks bad. That's all my opinion. Everyone. Evil has to do with a spiritual level. We all share the same God spark. Black, white, Chinese. The black man, white man, Chinese man. We all share the same God spark. So therefore the spirit that's in us should resonate. That's why when you see certain things occurring, no matter what a person's race, color, or creed is, they can feel the same way about certain things. Pedophilism. Hurting babies or hurting puppies. Things of that nature. If your God spark don't make you feel some type of way about that, you may be evil yourself. But there's no relativity to that. That's not relative. There's some things that's not relative, and there's some things that is. Somebody hear me. Please, somebody hear me. You're too near me not to hear me clearly. So, the children, the animals, babies, they're innocent victims of your choices and your vibrations. Something you can control. You can control your vibration. Every opportunity that you have to speak to them, you're passing them a vibration. Every time they ask you a question, you're passing them a vibration when you're giving them an answer or a non-answer. That's still a vibration. You're giving them a vibration of ignorance. You're ignoring them. They're there. You pass around the dumb spirit. Don't do that. Don't do that to them. You want to be dumb on your own time. But as long as your time is theirs, you owe them better than that. Hateful, rebellious, and lofty. They all go together. What's lofty? Lift it up. I'm this, I'm that. I'm so and so. I'm this, I'm that. But you're all just wick, whack. All right, your conscious versus your subconscious and the super God conscious. Now, your conscious, of course, you may be conscious that you need to do some cleaning up. In your subconscious, you understand, yes, there's stuff up under this couch, there's stuff over there, there's stuff here, there's stuff there. Okay, your subconscious knows all things, believe it or not, in this physical realm, and even some things in the mental realm. Your conscious knows what it sees, knows what it's told. You go to sleep, you're not conscious. That's why some people go to sleep. That's why some people go to sleep when you're kicking some knowledge. Because they're not conscious. They don't want to be conscious. Then you have the superconscious, which is the God consciousness. That'll tell you things that even your subconscious can't know. Your subconscious remember things going back to your ancestry. It's in your subconscious that your mama played music and your great auntie played music, and so it went down the line. It's in your subconscious mind, even as a child. When you're looking at her play the piano and you watching her, and your subconscious mind is, I can do that. You may not be conscious of how to put the notes together and where to place your fingers on the keyboard, on the keys. But should you add that knowledge base into your conscious, you're going to be extra bad if it's already in your subconscious. And then if you bow yourself down to that which is greater than you. You know, some of y'all, metaphysical minded individuals who believe that you've gotten all the answers and that you are the God spark. There's no God spark in you. You are the God spark. You're as bad as some people who would call themselves Christians or something like that, who also believe that they got all the answers. They may say out their mouth, they might jib and say, well, I believe it's something greater than me. But when a manifestation of that's greater than you manifests itself in something that you don't see as great as you won't bear witness to it. Have mercy. Have mercy. How does Yah manifest? He talk to you all the time in your little mind. The words say, study to show thyself approved. Showing yourself to be a workman who need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word. Study. There have to be some study, some work. And not just the work to keep your material things going, but you have to work to keep your spiritual things going. To have a book and not to read it is to not have a book. Your conscious, your subconscious, and your super God, or your super conscious, your God conscious, all should be in alignment, like your thoughts, your words, and your actions. They should all be in alignment. If you think one thing, say another, and then do yet another, you done transcended double think. You in triple think. If you think a thing that you can't say and cannot do, you also jammed up. And for some of you superconscious individuals, you think a thing that you cannot do. Everything you know is in theory. What can you do with it? You can't levitate. You can't fly. You can't use telepathy. You can't use telekinesis. You can't shoot energy beams out your hand. All of it is a dream. And it's a way to keep you in a delusion and an illusion. Illusion. Illuminati. Lucifer. The light. False light. You think you got some knowledge that you don't. False light. The way, the truth, and the light. That's what's right. The way, the truth, and the light. How can you know if you don't bear witness to the truth when it's in your face? You heavyweight jamming all over the place. Even when you think you've thrown out like a dart a thought or thought, it still must land. Somewhere. It must be no longer a part of your being, of your vibration, or of your inner G, your inner God, the God spark within, Ephesians 6:16, to protect yourself against the darts of the enemy, the thoughts of the enemy. Your thoughts are like darts. They fly around. I first found this out when my Grandma Jackson, was living, and she wasn't the most classically educated woman. Wasn't so gifted in spelling like her big head grandson ended up being, or writing, or any of that highfalutin stuff. But she was super wise. And if I got any game, she get a lot of credit for that. But I'm going to tell you something. I first started understanding is something about thoughts moving and traveling. At the time I was reading metaphysical books, and I was into the subconscious power. This is way before The Secret was even thought of. I'm talking about 95, 96. Yeah, that's right. And I would still be going in and out of the studio all the time. Lots of weed smoking, drinking, sneaking girls, and all type of stuff. And even not sneaking them. But I'd come in from doing something wrong, or something that I knew she would perceive as wrong, or something she'd cap on me about. And I'd try to creep past her and not think about it, because I began to pick up on that if I thought about trying to hide it, see, that's a hard thought. You're thinking hard then. You heavyweight thinking. So as I walk past her and be heavyweight thinking about, man, I hope she don't know I was out with Tony Grown and we was doing this and that. I'm talking with my thought. And them darts, I'm talking about the second I passed by her. It was something about that vibration. When I would pass by her, and she was in a wheelchair, and she sit in that wheelchair looking like she's game goofy, don't know nothing about nothing. As soon as I walk past, so you was with Tony Grown, huh? And this began to happen too often, with too many different instances, too many different people, not always Tony Grown. What up, though, Tone? But too many different instances to where I began to think, okay, there's something to this. And it really made me study thought and thought projection, to where at one period of time I was able to do it at will and able to pick it up at will. Nowadays we find, just the same way that she did it. She didn't read no books to know how to do it. But the same way that she did it, we do it all the time. All humans do it. But your phone can do it. Your computer can do it. They have figured out how to pick up that energy, because a thought is nothing but energy. This is one reason why in order to heal from certain things, you have to let a thought go. An argument is still an argument if you're still holding on to the thought, because that thought is living. It's real living energy. That's why when the Most High forgives, he says he does what? He throws it into the sea of forgetfulness. A sea, that's deep. That means it's gone. Ain't no finding that again. But for many of us, we give apologies with a qualification. We apologize, but I'm still holding on to this. And should you be weak one day, I'm going to hit you with this jab. A true apology, true forgiveness is you truly let go of that thought energy. You no longer have it on you. I hold the microphone like a grudge. You no longer are holding that thing. You let it go. Drop the mic and watch it smoke. Let it go. He's still one of the best. I'm sorry. Okay. I say, so even when you think you've thrown out that thought, remember it must land somewhere. So you don't want to just consciously throw it out. That's shallow. That's the top level of the onion. If you ever peel the onion, you can't just take off that top, the very top thin layer, and think that you're down to the nitty gritty of the onion. It's another layer beneath that. Even another beneath that. And that's how this thing is. Conscious, subconscious, and then the core, the super spark of the God consciousness. So you don't want to throw it out on the base or shallow level. You want to throw it all the way out, all the way down to the God within you. Break it down to the very last compound. See how it sounds? So grandma caught mine better the harder I tried. Duh. Increased effort. You try harder, you're giving more to it, giving more effort. So the harder I try, the harder you try to think about something, and especially when it's something that you're trying to forgive or let go, the harder you think about it, the less you're letting go of it. You're thinking about it, you're holding on to it. If you're going to pray, why worry? If you're going to worry, why pray? That means to let it go and let God. You have to let go and let God. The battle's not yours, it's the Lord's. Yolanda. So unless you forgive your parents, forgiving others is hardly possible. You see, you love them most by design. No matter what happened with your parents. And this is for everybody. Whole lot of folk. Me too. No matter what happened with your parents, by design, by the natural way of Yah, you love them the most. You're supposed to love them the most. Now, if you've not resolved those issues, your ability to love self and your ability to love others will be greatly hindered. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm Dr. Feel Good. I don't know what I'm talking about. You must forget about it. Like the mobsters say. Throw things into the sea of forgetfulness. You must truly forget about it. You forgive them and you forget. People say, well, I forgive, but I don't forget. Well, guess what? You ain't forget. Have mercy. That don't mean be game goofy, and once somebody burn you once, you let them burn you again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's just not perishing for lack of knowledge. Two different things. God is not in a box. You want to put a blanket over everything. Take everything as it comes. No, this applies here at this time. This applies here at that time. You can do it. You can do it. Put your mind into it. Whew. And I'm just a young kid from the ghetto, a kitty from the city. So unless you forgive your parents, forgiving others is hardly possible. Please believe it. You may think that you can, but your world around you will prove otherwise to you if you choose not to ignore it and be ignorant. So how can you release, let go, and let God lest you forget about it and stop bringing it up? That's a big part of it too. Some people have a hard time forgiving because they have a hard time bridling the tongue. Perhaps they don't feel like they've been properly compensated. They never apologized to me. Guess what? They may never apologize to you. They. No, you. Because forgiving is for giving you freedom. That's what forgiving is. Forgiving. You think they just slapping words together for nothing? You do things for nothing. Not the people that make up these words. I'm sorry. But this was for somebody. So you can stop getting played like Atari by these spirits that are on you and ruining your world, ruining the ability for your world to be corrected, perfected even. As it is written, be ye perfect as the Lord Jesus, the Messiah, Yahweh Shah, was perfect. Do not perish for a lack of knowledge. If you're going to perish for something, don't perish for that. And that was today's message. We're going to keep it short and sweet as it need to be by the Holy Spirit that's leading me. And I thank you again for your viewership. I thank you for your encouragement. And I thank you for your prayers, those who have prayed for me, without a doubt. Kingdom Kid, your prayers have been very much appreciated and uplifted my spirits out of a sorrowful state. My brother C-Mart, I thank you for turning me on today to the information that I asked everybody about. C-Mart came through and gave me exactly what I needed to know to put that puzzle together for me for sure. And of course, always eternal thanks to my longtime viewers and my quote-unquote the regulars to the temple, Sister Barbara G, who always asks great questions of me. Of course, always my main man, Benny Blanco, time and time again. Miss Mice, my real friend. My main man in BX, Brother Minister, Big Ronnie Ron. He's going to be coming on very soon, please believe it. And he's going to hit you with the boom. And all of the rest. Every single one of you guys, you mean so much to me, and I thank you for giving me something to do in the kingdom, for you in the kingdom. And of course to True Brown from Motown, Lele Compton, and all of the rest. You charge it to my head, not my heart. So I love you again and again and again. And we shall be back. It's a tight fight, but we win in the end. Please believe that. Shalom.